Justin Forsett, all pro Justin Forsett. I remember obviously having the privilege and the honor of coaching you your junior and senior year. And I remember telling other coaches, scouts, etc., one day you'll see that man on Sunday playing football, and here we are.
Yep. It's been a blessing.
The very thing that made it happen.
God, my faith has been an important part of this whole process, my whole journey. I like to say that my faith, I don't slice it up as a section in my life. It's like an apple pie. It's the filling. It's the whole thing. So if you cut one piece out, you still have the filling in it. So in my faith, you know, whether it was football, whether it was school, whether it was relationships with my family, you know, it was always a major part in it. So even to get here today, still playing on Sundays, going into my 8th year, it's been nothing but God.
I'm not sure the reason why you left Florida to come to Texas. I'm sure glad you did. You sure made me look good as a coach, that's for sure. But I remember when you got there to Arlington, Texas, Grace Prep, a college prep high school, and according to their records, you were a year behind academically. So bottom line, your junior year, you had to be willing to basically do 2 years in your 1 year of studies, and yet it didn't turn you down. You took the challenge on, and that was a very tough school.
Yeah.
But it prepared you for college, as we both know, and it still didn't stop you. I know it's God, but still, what was it? Can you look back at what age when you had that determination? Because when I was a kid, I said one day I will play in the NFL, and that was your attitude.
Yeah. So I know that my dream was at a very young age, I want to say, 7 years old, 8 years old, that I saw a guy named Barry Sanders play, and I was like, man, I want to do what that guy does, and I loved the game, and, my dream was to be in the NFL, and I just remember being at home sometimes, and, the electricity be off, and, being at home, and, the repo man is coming to repossess the car, and mom is sick, and battling through all these things. And I was like, I promised myself that, I wouldn't put my family, through this when I got an opportunity. And, football was a way out for me, and be able to bless people around me. And I would think of those moments when, when it was faced with schoolwork, when it was faced with people doubting me because of my size and my speed and my strength. Whatever it was, those things were things that kind of pushed me. When adversity hit or when there were some obstacles ahead, I was able to rely on that to keep me going.
In high school, very successful because of your size. People, Notre Dame stepped in, offered you, then backed out on it the last second. We talked about all that. Justin, just hold on.
Yeah.
You're going to find the right place. It may not may be where you want to be, but you will find the right place. And, of course, Kyle, University of Cal turned out for you. No,
it was a blessing, man. I just remember that time being a rough moment for me when Notre Dame pulled back. I remember crying in my basement and just asking God, like, man, I'm the one that's reading the Bible. I'm the one that's, praying every day and, trying to live your word, and everyone else around me seems to get the blessings that I wanted. And I was like, God, you got to show me something. And he led me to Proverbs 3, where it says, lean not on your own understanding, but trust God with all your heart. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he'll direct your path. And I took that as him literally speaking to me. And after I heard that, I was like, okay, God, I'm not going to look at the circumstance. I'm going to just trust you and let you direct the way. And he opened up Cal, and, the rest is history.
I remember your coach, Tedford, called me. And he asked me, he says, Coach, tell me about this young man. And I told him, I said, Coach, you'll never coach a player that will give you more than Justin Forsett. And I even told him this. I said, there'll be a day you'll call me and tell me you were right. And I don't remember what year it was, but I remember I got a phone call one day. I'm in the middle of practice coaching, and I'd forgot my cell phone in my back pocket, which I never took my cell phone on the field.
Right.
And all of a sudden, my phone rings. We had a break, and I answered the phone, and it was your coach. And he let me know. He said, Coach, I just stood him up in front of the whole team, And I told him if we had 120 players like Justin Forsett, we'd be the national championships every single year. Of course, that made me feel good. And of course, the foundation of it all is your genuine walk with God. It's what's always impressed me the very most about you.
No, man. I know that my grandma used to tell me to always look up into the hills with coming to your help, because your help comes from the Lord. So I always had to acknowledge him, and I had a real relationship and impact and encounter with God at an early age. So, I always wanted to bear those characteristics of Christ everywhere I went, whether it was on the football field or in the classroom. So, to have people, say, hey, man, we love your personality and who you are off the field, not just on the field, it's a blessing to hear.
The one thing that you can give a praise to is that you have an awesome mom and dad that took you to church, taught you the things of God, and thank God for your mom. That's where you got all your athletic ability. Your dad had nothing to do with it. He can cook a mean barbecue,
Yes,
but other than that, it's your mom while you're here. Isn't that right?
That's the truth. I'm sticking with it.
That's great. Justin, you're very busy here, but now as a pro football player, you take this podium. You came into jail with me at Harris County downtown, putting this all together. It takes the Duke football made by Wilson, but life the word is made by God. And you've taken that. This is your podium, and just maybe share a moment, just the depth of what Jesus means to you as an athlete, as a person, as a husband now, as a dad. You have a beautiful son and about to have another one.
Yes.
And putting all that together.
Man, God is so good. He's everything to me. There's not a day that goes by that I don't spend time with him to get direction. Even through the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs of my life and my career, he's been faithful. So what I would, press upon, anyone out there is that, if you hold on to God, he will hold on to you. He's been faithful. I remember vividly times when in my life, in my career, where I'm tossing and turning at night, not knowing what the future would hold, and just praying to God, just reaching out to him, God, I need something. I need some type of encouragement. And I would be at a sense of peace, and where I could almost feel like his arms wrapped around me and just letting me know that it was all right, and coming to a calm where, like, okay, God, I'm gonna just trust you because you're all powerful and you're all knowing, and it's in your hands. And just knowing that I got a God that understands where I'm at, and there's nothing new to him.
Right.
And that's been huge throughout my career. So he's faithful, man.
Justin, let's close this out. I know you're busy. I am going to ask you to look just in that lens and just talk straight, to never stop, because God's truly their source.
Yeah, I would like to, encourage everyone out there that there's nothing that you can do that can separate you from the love of God. Nothing that you've done in your past can hinder that. I think about even Paul, who persecuted Christians, and yet God came into his life, had a spiritual encounter, and turned into one of the greatest men in the Bible, writing, books in the New Testament. And God used them to save a lot of people's lives, and God can use you. He just needs that open vessel for you to allow him to come in. And once you allow him to come in, I'm telling you, you will not only have a presence where you're at, but you would have an impact. And I think that's important, for us to think about not only what God can do for us, but what he can do through us. And, then you begin to sense your purpose and why you're really here. And that's one of the greatest things that you can ever have.